Demonstration of the Geospect Mudlogging system. The instrument itself stands 8 inches tall, it's 18 inches wide, and 18 inches deep. As you can see, it's got the ventilation cutouts on the side, and it's made of solid steel. It's a very rugged construction. On the front here, you have the flow rater for the total gas coming into the unit, and you have a switch which switches from normal to calibrate, and that's just for this test gas inlet, where you can actually put your calibration gas up to the front and switch it and leave your bubble jar connected to the back. Now, speaking of the back, on the back of the unit we have a power cord receptacle, a USB receptacle, and we have hookups here. If you're not using widths, you have common depth, pump 1, pump 2, and on-off bottom. You also have carrier air, gas, and 2 exhaust lines coming out. I'm going to take off the lid here and show you the inside. On the inside, you have your data acquisition board that's flashing. This is just a special Geospect board that it hooks to. Your sample pump, power supply, infrared chamber, chromatograph column, and your filament chamber for the chromatograph. Okay, Scott, now I'm going to shift gears and go over the Geospect software some. You can get into the Geospect software by double-clicking this red Z, and it'll open up to Geospect 1507 or whatever the latest Geospect is at the time. We update those quite frequently. It opens up to this menu screen. It'll have 5 buttons, and you'll see these same 5 buttons across the top of every screen inside of Geospect. You also see you have 365 days left on the hardware key and a way to extend to that. Most mudloggers will go to the logging screen, and that's where they're going to get their information, and they'll leave it on this screen while they're drilling. You have the depth, estimated TBD, lag depth, gas, ROP in feet per hour or minutes per foot. You have 1-foot intervals for your ROP, 2-foot averages, and 5-foot averages. You also have on-off bottom, and they can be set to manual or automatic. But if you're using widths, there's no reason not to leave that on automatic. Here's your strokes per minute, and you can click these pumps on and off if you're not using them for any reason, just by clicking the top of the pump. Here's your total strokes for pump 1, 2, and 3. And your lag strokes. You can move this slider over if you have a washout, and it'll increase your lag strokes, and it'll also tell you what % washout you have. These 2 vertical graphs here, the one on the left is ROP, the one on the right is lag gas. And you can see the lag line is down here because that's the depth that the gas is coming from. And you also have some alarms here that you can set. Such we have the one for high gas set. And speaking of gas, let's go on over here to the calibrate screen, and I'll show you how to calibrate your gas detector and chromatograph. And you can do both of those from the calibrate Chrome screen. The top left-hand portion of the screen is for total gas, and this bottom part of the screen is for the chromatograph. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put some calibration gas to it and just see where we're at on our calibration. I have a bottle of 1% methane, ethane, propane, butane, and isobutane, 1% of each. So you're going to see a pretty high total gas reading, and then it's going to do the chromatograph breakout. And I have my switch up to calibrate, if you can see it. And so I'm going to put the gas in the front here. Now you should start to see, here it comes, an increase in gas. Our gas alarm's going off.
High gas.
And we're going to let that gas get on up here a little bit. And it is, so we're going to take a manual sample on the chromatograph by clicking this button. And it'll take a 5-second sample of that gas. And then we're done now, so we can turn our test gas on.
High gas. High gas. High gas.
You can see the gas reading is pretty high. We got a blend of 5 gases at 1%. So that should be 500 units of total gas here, which we're way too sensitive. So let's back that off. Let's back it off some more. And the way I'm doing that is I'm clicking on the sensitivity and just typing the number down. And let me set this scale up to 500, since that's, well, let's set it up to 1,000. And I did that by clicking this scale button and just typing in the number 1,000. So that's still too sensitive. So 10. These infrared sensors are very, very sensitive. And that's about right there. And as you can see on the chromatograph, you have methane, ethane, the propane's going down right now. And we'll just have to wait on butane and isobutane. Okay, here comes the isobutane. And that's the butane. We're just going to have to wait for them to come out. But you can see it's breaking the gases out just fine. Let's go ahead and go over to calibrate. And I'm going to show you our logging. We'll go to exports. And you just check what data files you want. And for example, on 1 foot ROP, you'll get a spreadsheet or a CSV file which you can read in a spreadsheet program. You'll have depth and then the ROP beside it, and you'll have that in feet per hour, or you can check minutes per foot, or you could literally check both if you ever had a reason to do that. And there's 2 foot averages and 5 foot averages also if you wanted to do it. And then we have capability to log TVD and 5 foot averages. Log time, you can set this interval, but what this does is it creates a spreadsheet with all the drilling parameters every X number of seconds. So it's kind of like a backup. The mudlogger never uses it, but sometimes it's useful, so we usually leave that hooked up. And we have other things checked here. For example, this unit doesn't have a CO2 detector or a dual sensor gas analyzer, so none of this needs to be checked. Really all we need is a chromatography on 1 foot intervals, so I'll leave that unchecked. And the way you get to these spreadsheets is you go back to the computer's desktop, and there's a folder called Geospect here on the desktop. You open it up, and this can be opened up in Microsoft Excel. I happen to have Open Office on this computer, but that's fine also. So if we wanted to go to the 1 foot feet per hour, it's very descriptive spreadsheet. We'll go here, open that up, hit OK, and there you have your depth and your ROPs in 1 foot increments. And the same, this can be opened up in Microsoft Excel. I happen to have Open Office on this computer, but that's fine also. So if we wanted to go to the 1 foot feet per hour, it's very descriptive spreadsheet. We'll go here, open that up, hit OK, and there you have your depth and your ROPs in 1 foot increments. Yes, we did. I'm going to increase the scale over here so we can see it better. But every time it takes a sample, it'll throw your last chromatogram over here and freeze it, so your loggers can look at it. It'll also now we've got a running total of the percentages, and they go along with the total gas. So if your total gas increases, these percentages also increase, but they maintain their relationship to each other. I'm going to just put a butane lighter to the total gas so you can see that happen. So now you see the gas coming up, and you can also see these live corrected chromatograph readings coming up, and how they maintain the original ratio, but they just go up and down with the total gas. And you can do that in units, which we have checked here, or you can do it in percentage. Scott, there are a couple of more things that I want to go through with you before I conclude this demonstration. The first one is data entry. And this is just a screen where you enter your ODs and your IDs of your drill pipe, casing, liners, so on and so forth, and your pump information, so the Geospect system can calculate lag. This is also where you enter the last survey information. You enter the measured depth, TBD, and angle of the last survey, and Geospect will track until the next survey or the angle changes. And it'll keep track of TBD that way. Now we're going to come over here and go to General Settings. And this is how you configure widths. And it's pretty easy. All you have to do is make sure everything on the left-hand side of the screen here is set to widths, such as widths, depth, SPM, and your total strokes are set to simulate/calc from SPM. And you can hit your configure button. The only thing you need to change in here ever is the COM port. And in this case it's COM 8. We'll save that. Go click on the terminal button and see your live data streaming from the rig computer. And also we're streaming out the gas to the computer. And everything seems to be working there, so we're going to close that out. And with that, I'm going to conclude this demonstration on the Geospect mudlogging system. If you have any questions at all, Scott, feel free to call me at 409-771-3574. You can email me at mike@geospect.com or go to our website at geospect.com. And thanks again for viewing this demonstration.